Hello everyone, hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of the Pondering. This audio podcast is part of the series, the audio podcast series, the Conveying Maverick. This audio podcast series is part of a Bostix and Blitzar and the specials. And this audio podcast series, as part of a ZtormLabostix production. In this audio podcast, a little bit of intro, into and as part of this series. So to begin with again, this works is attributed to a science student at a particular academic institution in the United Kingdom, who had developed some works looking at a case study in and around the neurological condition Parkinson's in around a particular patient case study based in as part of some retrospective works. So in as part of neurological conditions or illnesses or diseases, our Goodwin informs initially that it's important to recall on healthy functionality, and for example, where the nervous system has its own sort of complexities, and it is divided or split into two overarching sort of bases. There's the central nervous system, or the central nervous system, consisting of the brain and the spinal cord, and then the peripheral nervous system, which connects the rest of the body to that connects the rest of the sort of general pathophysiology to the control center of the brain and the central nervous system. So the brain and when in on the brain, the basis of the central nervous system forms part of the brain as its own individual organ. So the brain is vital important in all processes within human pathophysiology, and specific regions have specialized functions or workings, and some of the areas of the central nervous system and the brain in particular include the hippocampus, cerebellum, the cerebellum, the limbic system, and the pituitary and adrenal glands. The brainstem is an important structure within the brain, linking the spinal cord and cranial and the cranial nerves. Autonomic processes such as heart rate and blood, and for example arterial blood pressure or ABP are part of and have a basis from the brainstem, as well as the sort of complex voluntary voluntary movements. The pons is the sort of that part of the brain and sort of the brainstem which bridges and connects sort of the brainstem to the midbrain. The midbrain is then important in secretion of components such as dopamine production and regulation, along with along with eye movement and olfactory senses, and trunk movement. The basal Additionally, the basal ganglia are also found in the neurocortex, in the neocortex of the brain, and is a cluster of nuclei that have various or varying varying have varying functions, primarily movement and also uh, movement inhibition. So that draws this initial audio podcast as part of this series to a close. This audio podcast is part of the Pondering. This audio podcast is part of the Conveyor Maverick. This audio podcast is part of the Bostix Blitzar and the specials, and this audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix production.